Hello, hello. We've got a full house. I'm going to let them introduce themselves quickly. So, Amanda, you're up first.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm the former social media intern from Inimitable Books, and
Yeah,
I'm also an urban fantasy author. And my current project is the Grimoire Archive series.
very cool. Happy to have you.
Hello, I'm Auburn. I'm the author of The Trial Period. It is heavy on the ROM, heavy on the com. I'm working on a couple of new projects, and I'm just excited to have a productive time. Oh yes, thank you. Mine's right here, but I'm too lazy to pull it off the
I
shelf.
finally have it because I've been streaming at my mom's place for so much that
Yes.
it's on my friend shelf at my apartment, and I'm finally here.
Love.
I am Gwenna, the Gwenna everywhere that matters. I am a current undergraduate student in a creative writing course and an aspiring hybrid author.
Hey folks, I am Portia. I am the purveyor of cat ears, chaos, and the words in between. I am also the author of Low Bridge High Water, a poetry collection, and I am the author of this lovely Substack that is running across the bottom of your screen.
I was not prepared. But I have them. Hi, Regina. And yes, it is a full house today. We were commenting about that backstage before we started. Because it's a full house and we're doing a lot, I'm going to share the first forest room now. I'm no longer doing the French experiment where I'm not allowed to work from 12 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to take the break. So I'm going to be crocheting during the first break.
Okay.
Perfect. Great.
Good for you.
You don't have to write. You can do whatever you want.
I mean, I wrote this morning, so that is done, which I was happy about. But I'm still doing another experiment where it's you have one writing session a day unless you didn't meet your words in the first session. Mm-hmm. In which case, you try your best to do as many other ones that you need to reach that word count goal. But if you can't, you just move on, type of thing. So because I met it, it's nope, not supposed to do that more. So yeah. Okay, let me find this dog.
What is everyone else working on today?
I'm doing my own mini experiment. So when I ended up with my new job, I worked 10-hour days. But my writing routine didn't change. And I've just realized that's kind of dumb to expect a lot for myself when I work 10-hour days. So now I am doing one project during the week and then a different project on my off days. So it's trying a different balance. So instead of having to write 800 words in this book and 500 in another, I'm just going to write the one book and 1,500 words.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm writing my fun teen cozy fantasy. That's what I'm doing.
Awesome. What about you, Portia?
I am fictioning, and I am gonna cuss the whole time because so as some of you know, I had the Portal Jumper book that I was supposed to start in January of 2025, and then I did all kind of things for it. I made a playlist. I researched 1995 like I wasn't there, like I didn't exist. I did. But I didn't actually write the thing. And then I said, well, this is fine because I'm a poet and I write nonfiction, so it's fine that I'm not fictioning. But the damn story won't leave me alone. So I am very much I was like,
you're writing it, but you're not happy about it.
Because here's the thing. I want to write, I think it's going to be great. It's not what I want to do because basically when I went to Barbados and met my family that's, still on the island and all that, I was like, this is going to be great. I could do a nonfiction thing. I have a degree in journalism. It'll be a very well-researched memoir tie-in braided essay thing. And then But then the fiction is like, you just have to experience it, the fiction that you should have wrote like. And the book just keeps coming up. And I'm like, I will write you, but I won't be happy. I will cuss the whole time. I will write it.
Your audio went in and out a little bit during that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
I'm
right
just
when
telling
you
you how
were
I'm gonna
thinking
cuss.
about it too. I was like, why are we skipping the good part? What?
I know. It
I
was
want
like
the
once you
meat.
got really heated, it suddenly became garbled, and then you calmed down a bit, and you're
It's
like,
the
"Yes,
man
I'm writing it,
taking
but I'm
me
not happy."
down. The man doesn't want you to know how resistant I am to the process.
The man said, well-spoken black woman in her doctoral degree is not allowed to yell on the internet.
The text was like, "We're not going to allow you to be an angry black woman," and it's like, let her have her emotions, okay?
Yeah. Now we're all gonna yell the whole time and cuss out of spite.
Okay, we've got people in the forest room. It's about to be 109. I'm too impatient to wait until 110. I know we could chat forever. We've got chatty people on screen, me included. I'm not just throwing stones, but
You have plenty of stones in your pockets right now.
No, all my worry stones are at my mom's apartment.
I'm sorry, this is a tangent. I did just find out what a worry stone is, and I immediately went on Etsy, and now 2 are coming to me.
I bought like 11 because they're all different crystals that like represent different things. So I'm like,
I love that.
Like, what do I need today?
Meanwhile, I got a pickle and a little piece of bread. And they're called, and they're just made to be rubbed because I'm anxious.
Cute. That's really cute. Okay. Also, I was like, I'm not waiting until the 10-minute mark. Now we're 10 seconds away. None of us are on here. What happened? This is gonna happen for each sprint.
I got scared. I thought I got kicked.
I did
No.
too. Like,
no, we all got kicked. Okay, we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. We're back. It is raining, so I've lost the natural light, which means I'm only going to have filmed one YouTube video today, earlier before this live stream started. But that's okay. I can edit once we. How'd you do?
It's kind of nice and moody.
I know, but it made me want to sleep, and I got work to do. Veronica King came in, and I have a manuscript of her to start reading. Or resume reading. Restart reading? All of the above.
It's getting read.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 2 days ago, we were like in the 60s to 70s, which was amazing after like 5 days of 90s and 100. And then yesterday we were in like 70 to 80. And then I think today we were like mostly in the 80s, but now it's raining. So I'm hoping we'll drop down to like 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going out to dinner later. But yeah. How did everyone do? I don't know if Amanda's back. Amanda's unmuted, so okay.
Here.
Hi.
Only 271 written, but I had to go back and reference stuff from the last book in the series, and I had to check to see how I described something.
Still
That's
good.
good. Yeah. I wrote 200, and then I started watching YouTube architectural house tours because the character lives in a old house.
Oh,
And
I was like, is this just a hobby? Because that's like a cool hobby.
No. I just like have to look at. I don't know what it looks like in those houses, so I'm just like watching house tours, being like, okay, I'll just take a little of this and a little of that.
I set the mood. So I got my incense burning, I drew a tarot card, and then I washed my daughter's hair last night, and I felt it this morning, and I was like, oh my God, your hair is so silky smooth. I want that. So I just went and washed my hair. And then I also got 267. That's right.
Nice. That's a lot. I washed my hair this morning, and I like doused it in conditioner, so it feels really silky and stuff, which it naturally does when my hair is not mostly bleached. But aside from my roots, I'm still all bleached, so I gotta regularly condition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people that can just like wash their hair and do it and like come back and like be here in the washing my own hair is a thing. I wash between going to the salon and get my lock maintenance, but it's a whole thing. Well, I have waist length hair. If I take, which is why I twist my hair up, because I have waist length hair, and it's a thing. It's a whole thing. So I'm like slightly envious of people that can wash their hair and then like
my hair used to be waist length, but also I don't have a curl pattern. I do have a little bit of a wave pattern, thanks hormones, when I like turned 12 or 13. But and now I bleach it, so my hair structure is not like the same even then. It's like we're getting closer to straight now that like it's not as strong. It waves less where it's been bleached and stuff. But anyway, basically I'm now like here. I used to be waist length in middle school, but I was at least 3 inches shorter than I am now at that time. So for all I know, my hair is actually about the same length as it was then. But I haven't really had it past here in like 6 years minimum. In 2015, I did have a pixie cut, and then I eventually grew that out. Oh, Gwenna left. and stuff. So I haven't had it be super long in a while. Gwen is just having some technical difficulties. We should expect her back. I thought this was a moment where she had to go run an errand that she warned me about earlier, but apparently that'll be later. Who knows when?
I got this haircut a couple years ago. I get it every time now. I have found my cartoon person haircut. I will look like this probably until I die.
It really
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really
And it's very gender affirming. It's like perfect. Because my entire life up until 8th grade, I had hair past my butt. And like my mom didn't want me to ever cut my hair. Like people would play with my hair. I was like famous for like my long, beautiful hair. And then in 8th grade, I literally cut it all off, and it like traumatized my mother.
My
to the point
mom,
where she was just like, "You are not allowed to get your hair cut again."
My mom was more traumatized by me wanting to get a pixie cut than me wanting my first tattoo.
Yes, same.
And then when I was like, I want to bleach it, she was also like, no. And I'm like, it grows back. I'm also not going to be dumb. I've watched Brad Mondo. I know what not to do. And also, by what not to do is I'm not doing it myself. Like, you know, I will say the first person I ever went to was the best at it, but he doesn't have an assistant. So he's like, I can't do a double process by myself. Like, it would break your hair. And he's like being responsible by turning me away with that, because he was the only one to ever rinse it out in sections and like perfectly time everything and get me like almost completely even and able to
that's who you
wanted. And I never had any breakage with him. The next person I went to was in London for last year, London Book Fair. They did not get me to a light enough color because they were worried about breakage, which like at one level I respect. At the other level, they could have pushed it a little bit further and it wouldn't have broken. And I didn't have any breakage. And then the round before my current hair color was at a salon that was very nice and very well, priced, but they kept overlapping. So I've had the most breakage in the last like year than I have in like the 8 or so years that I've been bleaching my hair in some capacity. Gwen left again.
But it's a whole ordeal, and I love my hair. I just got my hair colored again before I went to Barbados, and I love it because it's purple, green, orange, pink, and red. Again, I love it. My stylist is amazing, but to get my hair colored and styled, I have to book her for the whole day. It's a 12-hour process to bleach me because
I'm 10 hours. I'm 10 hours. When my whole head was virgin hair again, and I completely grown it out like over the course of like 4 or 5 years. When is having it, they've ruined her internet because they're doing construction outside.
Oh no!
So I don't think we're getting Gwen back on screen. Hopefully, she'll be able to show up in chat, but I don't think we're.
Oh no!
Sorry, Gwyneth. But yeah, it was like an 8-day thing. And I had one day in between going to the Shadow and Bone fan convention last year and the start of London Book Fair. And I spent that 8 to 9 hours in the salon. I thought it would be 10, but thankfully it wasn't, which gave me time to then go and see Hadestown at night, because it was a birthday gift from my cousins who were like, you're in London. Our daughter hasn't seen it. You want our daughter to see it. You should all go see it.
Love. Perfect.
It's not your fault, Glenna.
Yeah.
But internet issues are terrible. We found out with some of the internet is better, not wood, better. But we were having power issues because I think I might have told you all that the people behind us got, is it FiberLink? FiberLink are the ones that are notoriously bad for cutting wires and stuff accidentally and we found out why. We were like, are they terrible at what they do? That's part of it. We're like, are they just terrible? Yes. But then we found out that what they do is they pay, they give their contractors incentives on how many houses they can do per day. So it encourages them to do a faster job because they get more money for as many people as they can do. So, which means that these people actually do know what they're doing, but they're, getting they're rushing. So people
That's when you get
actually do know what
sloppy.
they're doing.
I know.
Exactly. And so what ended up happening was, I actually had it one moment because you won't believe this. So
I am getting bored with my hair though. I do want to dye it.
So you know what sends power to your house, and most people have never seen this. There are these little things, and you have 2 of them in the ground underneath your house. This is what they accidentally did to ours, putting in the FiOS for the people behind us. So this is under the ground. They had to dig up our driveway to find this thing, pull it out, and replace it because
I would throw up.
they
Oh my
destroyed
God.
this. So what ends up happening is, for people who are not like electrical engineers, the power to your house, no matter how big your house is, you're supposed to have, you have standard 240 volts to go into your house, and usually it's split into 2 legs. So that's so you can watch TV and use your microwave and do something so things don't blow out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we were getting low power to our house, which I did not know was a thing. So what was happening was, the power would completely go out in my office and in our master bedroom, but the power is fine in parts of the living room. I can't do my washer and dryer, and the lights are flickering in the living room. So we're like, what? Because the power is not out. We're like, what is this thing? The power is not out, but it's also not on. They came and they have a way to measure your electricity. Now, mind you, you're supposed to have 240 volts total. We had 40 volts on one leg and maybe 95 on the other. They were like, yeah, because they blew this thing out that's under the ground under our house. So we weren't getting enough power to our house.
It would be the crash out of the century in my house. Lose our minds.
Yeah. So that's basically what happened. So now that we found that out, and they actually had to dig up our driveway, which we had just gotten redone. So they had to dig that up to fix it. And we are now chasing them because it was basically, of course, it's always,
they better pay for your driveway to get redone.
But they are but as always, it's, well, you pay your person to redo it and then we reimburse you. And now when it's time to be reimbursed, it's
you don't get it.
A lot of running around and, submitting paperwork and proof and photos. And it's like, actually, yeah, you did do this. And everybody's like, so exactly. So it's like, should we spend more money on an attorney to get the money because then it's going to end up being a wash because, so basically we're trying to get the money so we can get our guy back out here so we can, get that, because we just gotten it done because we had to get a garage door. And we're like, well, this sucks, but we might as well just do the whole thing at once. Get the garage door, get the whole driveway done in one shot. It'll be cheaper than doing 2 separate things, right? So we actually had a nice looking driveway, and I'm realizing that I sound every bit of 40. Be like, we were very proud of how our driveway and our garage looked, but it looks good. We're like, this looks really good and was expensive. And if we had to pay for it, it was nice. We wanted to have people over and do a fire pit and do the thing. And then, then they had to dig the whole thing up. And they had to dig 12 feet in the ground outside of our house. So of course they put it back as best they could, but it's not the same. So we have to get it done again. It's a thing. Exactly. Look at my nice driveway. I used to go out and have actual fun. But now it's like, have you seen my driveway? And my parents, because they're in their 60s, my parents came over and this is great. Let's get the number to your guy, because they understand. They're of that age where it's oh, they're just like, did you do a different style of door? Is this? They were like, this is nice. They were
This is nice.
Levels of adulthood when you start
I love
being
it.
like excited.
Replaced 3 years ago. Had to have your driveway replaced 3 years ago. It's expensive. It is, and we're glad we did not go with the asphalt because we got an offer. Our neighbor got asphalt, and we were like, "Do we want to do asphalt? We don't really want to because the humidity down here is like insane." So we're like, so thankfully we stuck with the gravel, and I did not know they did that in weight. So then the guy was like, "Yeah, you'll need about 2 tons of it." And he's like, "I'll bring a truck." So they bring a huge truck of gravel. And I'm like, what the hell is this? It's a whole thing. So yeah, in this economy, go out, become a homeowner. It is gut wrenching.
Oh, so easy in this economy to become a homeowner.
Become a homeowner. It's where I look at other generations that they were just like, yeah, this is the American dream. It's not. It is. I love our house. We have a beautiful home. It is, we are blessed and grateful and stuff, but it is a lot of responsibility and a lot of money because something always breaks. And then you have weird stuff like, oh, I have low power to my house, which we didn't have to pay for, but it's like, I would like to use the internet. Oh, you can't. You don't have enough power in your house to use the internet. And it's like,
I mean, people will say like, oh, it would be so much better to like just buy property and be responsible. And I'm like, no. I don't want responsibility. If something, if something is broken, I love being able to call my building and be like, this is broken, please fix. And they do it because they know how to. And the thing is that like, that's included in my rent. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I didn't budget for something having broken and now I need a new thing fixed. Like if something really big like broke, like let's say I had to, replace, my fridge or like my stove or something, that would, whatever. But like my mom and I don't have to be like, oh, we need new grout in the bathroom. That's like a completely like expense. It's just like, oh, there's just like a little bit. They just come up, we give them a tip, and that's it.
And the thing is, I grew up in apartments. My mom didn't get a house until I was already like an adult with a full-time job and working my way through college. So when we moved into this house, I was like, living in a house was still really new to me. So things broke, and I was like, what do you mean? Like they'll give us a bill? Like I'm used to you call your people at the apartment building and it's like, this thing does not work. And then they send somebody out and it's like included in what I pay and like it's fixed. And it's like, but now if your water heater goes, it just goes and it's like your responsibility and they're $10,000 and you're just like, it's okay. I'm very frugal. Cold showers aren't that bad. It's summer. I like this. It's refreshing. I don't want to pay $10,000 for a water heater.
I feel like this is very jinxy
you're gonna want to do
and
that
I need
before,
to like knock on wood.
You're gonna want to do that before you need it, but in summer, I feel like I'm not paying this now.
Right? No, but I mean, we replaced our water heater a few years ago, and then they do things like. That's why I'm like, being a homeowner is constantly bills because so what ends up happening is. Most people, I'm sure there's somebody, don't have $10,000. So they're just like, of course, we didn't expect that you'd have $10,000. Here's your payment plan. And it becomes like a car note or a mortgage or something because you kind of need it. And they know that it's like, I'd like to have hot water.
They know they have
Right. So then it's just like, oh, and then they're like, for the low price of X and Y, you can now have hot water to shower in. You're welcome. And it's like,
I should have just already had this.
So, and some things are actually illegal to replace yourself. Like some things are considered black market if you get, because then you'll start doing something like Googling, be like, well, if I just like get a guy to, and they're like, don't do that. That is not
started making things illegal once the internet became like, here's how you do stuff yourself. They're like, wait, we're losing money. They're like, wait, hold on, we're losing money. We don't like this. It's like,
because you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get anything, for the most part, anything in your house that breaks. And if you know somebody that can fix it, you can just pay for their labor to fix it, and you buy the item, and it's actually cheaper. But depending on your state and your jurisdiction, then there are codes, and the person has to be like, certified where you are. So say you have a friend that's like from Jersey or from Ohio that knows how to do the thing. They can't just put the part in because they're not certified where you live, and it could become a fire code thing. And it's like, no.
Meanwhile, NYU had me in a dorm that violated building safety codes. There was no secondary exit. If our floor had caught on fire, I would not have an escape route.
My God.
And they were like, okay, we'll like put you in a different dorm, but like we had to pay more money. And then I later found out that the people who had been in my dorm the last time threatened to go to the New York Times, and they paid for an apartment for them. And I'm like, damn.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I had considered like going public with it. And instead my mom was like, no, like let's just, you're almost done. Like, let's just finish out, and then everything shut down anyway because of the pandemic. I was just, God damn it. I could have had the apartment.
That is crazy. Okay. Regina said, after the third dishwasher, I refuse to replace it again. I use it as a dish drying rack, fridges and stoves. So let me tell you about so the dishwasher, and I know we're going to have to sprint again, and I know that we're all very talkative, except Amanda. Thanks for like being the balance in the group. Amanda's like, not me. I'm going to say like 3 words because you all talk too much. Thank you for that energy. I love it.
Amanda has always been like that, but here it's just like, oh, you really notice it.
But so if you get your dishwasher from, and as soon as I say this, I'll get an email that we've changed this thing. But because we got our dishwasher at Best Buy, if you're like a Best Buy card, if you have a Best Buy card and you get the extended warranty, like on your dishwashers and stuff, they'll come up because you get like a 5-year warranty, right? So what you have to do, and this is annoying, but what you have to do at year 4, every time you wash your dishes, like you watch this thing like a hawk. If you hear any hump, bump, anything, you immediately want to call them while you're still in that 5 years and be like, And they have to replace that dishwasher with the same model or whatever the equivalent of that model is. And you have to. So at year 4, you are eyeballing that dishwasher like, look, I don't want anything out of you. And they have to come and replace it. And they actually told us, they were just like, of course you don't want to like cheat. Like if it's working fine, it's working fine. But they were just like, like if you hear anything at like year 4, go ahead and file the claim. Because they were like, if it is like 5 years and 2 days, they're going to be like, nope, it's your problem. So
yeah, because they want to save money.
They do. So they're just like, eyeball that dishwasher. Like you are watching it like, no, like
you're watching it like Powerball numbers. You're like the moment.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. Like if you do like because we do Best Buy, but whatever you do for like your home appliance stuff, and get that extended warranty and I put it in my Google Calendar so I will remember, because ADHD, I won't remember that it's been like 4 years. I have it pop up and remind me, like, start looking at that dishwasher or start looking at whatever that appliance is, and you're looking at it like, you burn a cubic inch of this toast, you are going back. I am using this warranty.
You got to use it. You got to use the warranty.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start the next sprint. Thank you, Gwenna and Regina. I did see that
Yes.
come through, and I'm just like, I got 2
Mhm.
mods in the chat. I don't have to deal with it. It's lovely. During that sprint, I had crocheted the 2 ears for what's going to be a bunny, but because I don't have the eyes for it here, they're all at my mom's place. I can't finish it.
That is adorable.
It's so cute.
And because I already did the dragon because they had released it like with Chinese New Year, like with different colors a few years ago. And so then I was like, wait, I have the pig pattern. I can just make it in red yarn. And then I'm like, wait, I have the rabbit. I'll just do this. So they don't have an ox pattern. They have a cow pattern. I have to figure out if there's a way I can do that or just wait until a year of the ox to do that. And yeah. So super, I have this, I'm working on the snake, and then I don't think they have a rooster. Like they have bird patterns, but I'm like, I don't know how to do like this.
I was about to say, it sounds like delightfully
or
complicated.
So like,
Yeah.
And like theoretically I could go online and get a different pattern, but I kind of want them all to look like they belong in the same family, and Woobos has a certain way that they shape theirs. Like the body for the rabbit is the exact same as the body for the tiger. And I didn't buy the tiger pattern because I have the fox pattern and the lion pattern, and the ears and the tail for the fox plus the face of the lion creates the tiger minus the stripe. And I'm like, I can figure this out just by looking at it. And so, yeah. So yeah, that's what I did during that sprint. It is now 2:00, so I will be editing the video that will be going up next Monday. But in an hour will be the last vlog in the I Work Like the French experiment that I did last week.
Yes.
Fun. Okay. Wrong. None of us are on screen. My God, StreamYard, get it together. Also, Portia, your screen is black on screen, but I see you fine in. Oh no, she's frozen in studio.
Oh.
All that talk about tech.
I know. That's why I said we should all knock on wood.
I did. Okay, we're going to start in off-script therapy. I'm going to have to save that to watch later. 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. Bless you, Auburn.
Thank you. That timing was crazy. Portia, I'm glad you're back.
Because I was starting to think they're dropping like flies.
I know.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait. I have you all in another tab. Apparently, okay. I was hearing my own feedback. Okay, there we go.
Back to normal.
Yes. Okay, there we go. But I was thinking that I was like, this is actually would be a hell of a plot for a horror book that we're all on screen together and one by one we're just snatched out. And you assume it's the internet.
There is a like indie horror film that did something like that. And I just remember the trailer came out at a time that I was still scared by everything. So I was like, that's too scary for me. And now I'd probably be like, yeah, that's be fine. But yeah. No worries, Regina. We ran a few seconds over because I had a bio break right at the end. So we're not that far off from the end of the last sprint. How did you do, Amanda, Auburn, and Portia? What'd you do aside from get your internet back?
414 this time around, so much better.
Nice.
That's good. I at the end of our last chatting, I was like, why does my head kind of hurt? And I was like, oh, it's because you're hungry because you haven't eaten. So I made like a very late lunch and then wrote like 100 words.
Nice. Okay, writing got done. I got my internet back together, and then what I also was able to do was help an acquaintance who was sent to me was like, our mutual friend said you're the person to talk to about RPGs, so they want to write a RPG game. And I was like, I am the person to talk to. So I was able to give them a bunch of resources and PDFs, and I was like, I could talk about this all day, which actually makes me more excited about my own story. So maybe I'm not cussing as much as I like go back into the story. I'm still cussing. Like, don't get me wrong, because this thing is going to stick with me, because I remember reading Elizabeth Gilbert's, wasn't it Elizabeth Gilbert? The one, not because her books are usually really a lot, but she wrote one about writing, The Big Magic. Yeah,
Big Magic. I was gonna say, I was like, I think it's Big Magic, but maybe there's another one. Oh, she went to NYU. Magic. I did not know that.
So I was reading that, and they were just like talking about how ideas. They're like, yeah, as a writer, like if you don't write that idea, if you don't do it, that idea is going to float on to somebody else, and then you're going to see a book that's like, oh, I had an idea like that. If you didn't do it, and somebody else is going to do it. So I just assumed that was going to happen with this Portal Jumper story. No, it keeps coming back to me. Like, so are you ready to write us yet? Because we would very much like to be written, but it has to be you. And I'm like, but there are other people that like to write fiction. I think you'd be well served to let them do this. No, not them. Okay.
I searched Elizabeth Gilbert, and one of the first things that came up was a Reddit post that said that her latest memoir, which came out last year, called All the Way to the River, was like, quote, disturbing to read. I'm like, what was that?
Oh, I had heard about that.
It's about addiction.
Oh.
Yeah, I had heard a lot about that as like, I guess her media tour, and as people were like reading the book. I did not read the book, so just take me like with a grain of salt. But I was hearing what other people were saying, because they were like, addiction, and as you know, her partner was dying of cancer. And they were like, yeah, and it talks a lot about, you know, towards the end, and how she was like, yeah, and how she was having these thoughts of, I wish she would go. And, you know, and although, listen, I cannot imagine how stressful it is to be a caretaker. So I'm not debating that part, but people were like, yeah, and they were like, we get it's memoir, but they were like, what was
Uncomfortable, but it's honest. And like
Yeah.
people have
Fair.
felt that way.
fair? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I was like, I'm not judging it because I have not read the book yet, so I cannot speak to it from having read it and have an opinion on it. But I just remember people talking about it when it came out, and they were like, "Yikes!" And I was like, I don't know.
I think it's something that I would maybe, had I not heard it from you, been like, oh damn, like she went there.
Yeah,
You know, but they
Yeah.
kind of do it like in the pit as well, where someone's just so burnt out.
Mhm.
And someone tells them like you can take a break, but it gets taken the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and you're just like, caretaker burnout is so real.
It's very real.
absolutely, yeah.
And like it's like a different part of like the grieving process. So like my mom was pretty sick before she passed away, and they like truly change personality. So it's like you're like one grieving the person you used to know. Like so I like had to like grieve my mother that hasn't been here for years, and then like also dealing with like the grief of like this new person, this like less kind version, because you know, going through hell, knowing your end is sooner than others. Like, yeah, it's very complicated.
And then just grieving the fact that like even if they were here in a way that they wasn't themselves, no matter how long that period was, that they were like this new version of themselves, you still had your mom in some capacity.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like with someone with Alzheimer's, because there are people in my family who have Alzheimer's, you might be like, that's no longer really them early, and it's not necessarily that they become meaner, although a lot of people do, because they get angry that they can't remember things and scared and all these things.
Yep.
But they're still physically there. Like you can still hug them, you can still visit them, even if they don't remember who you are. So it's like all these, like you have to mourn the physical, the version that they were when they died, if different from the version that when they were like really, really living as themselves.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And like obviously humans are different than dogs, but even, or other pets, but like even just like losing Riley less than a month ago, like the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 if we're being the most honest, she was like sleeping as much as she was when she was a puppy, and that wasn't normal. But I think my mom and I are like, she's fine because she's still playing like a puppy and she's always slept. And it wasn't until she started like refusing food that we're like, this isn't good. But we chalked it up to Havanese are known to get finicky about food. Like they'll eat the same thing a million times and then one day just be like, no, that's it. Like hard stop. And you have to switch it up. So we just thought it was that. And it was like, no, there was a chance that she was like nauseous and like feeling like she couldn't eat and stuff.
Yeah. Because like you're like, you know, you knew it was going to happen one day. We knew like one day in the future, this or that's going to happen. Like she's going to pass. And then like the day happens and you're like truly shocked. No matter what you're
the day before it happened, we did not expect the really bad news that we got. Like the month before we had gotten, not the month before, 2-3 weeks earlier, we had gotten like not great news. But that was like, we thought we had 2 more months with her. And it turned out basically after that news, we had 2 to 3 weeks with her. Because the second meeting we had with a different doctor was like, this is not fair to keep holding on and hoping that we get that full time that the first doctor thought. And then they were like, we could do it today. And we're like, no, we can't. You might be able to, but we can't. We are having one more night with her, one more morning with her. And then, you know, it was like, it was fast and then a complete plateau. And we got complacent, even though we were still checking on her. But like we kept being told, like, she's stable, she's stable, she's stable. And then all of a sudden it was like increasing, which meant she was going to be on a very bad decline. And it just wasn't fair. But it's like grief is so weird. And everyone was like, well, you've been basically living with it for a year. And I'm like, is that supposed to mean that like it's easier for us? Because like I get you're trying to be comforting, but what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like you're kind of missing the mark.
Yeah.
Like, just say that you're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people don't know what to say, but they want to say something. And that's why my go to is typically just, I cannot imagine what you're going through, but I'm here for you. And if there's anything that I can do, because I'm like in that moment, it's easy to, as the person wanting to comfort somebody, it's easy to want to have something to say, but it's like we don't know what to say. So it's easier to just, exactly, Gwen. It does not teach how to grieve. So it's that awkwardness of, it's a very American thing. I want to have an answer. I want to have something to say. When I try to lead it to the just being with the person and even just being like, I am acknowledging your grief. I don't know what to say, but I am here and I am, giving you my presence, and I will say something because I don't know what to say, but know that
and there are some people who like have had pet loss and they can say like, I know how you feel. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then there are other people who are like, I've had pet loss and it sucks and I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm sorry. And that's also valid. And there are certain people who I told and they didn't respond. And my mom was like, do you think they just don't know what to say? I'm like, probably. And she's like, so are you holding that against them? I'm like, no. Like, I'd rather they not say anything than put their foot in their mouth like some people. But the people who've put their foot in their mouth, I'm like, I know you're trying. So and so I'll just write back like, thank you. And like, that's it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm just like,
yeah, it's hard because we don't live in a culture that teaches how to grieve or how to support people in grieving. And it can be counterintuitive. So I know, because like I do not have pets. I've had, I grew up in an apartment, so I had goldfish. I'm not even gonna go there because I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, I can in this moment be like, I am sending my very best, and if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Like, because I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to, because I don't know. Like, that has not been my experience. I have
but
lost
you can
people.
still be there for someone, and you have been, and like, thank you. But it's like certain people, and there are certain people who've had pets who are like, well, like you say, you'll never get another pet, but you will. And I'm like, this is not the time.
It's not. No, it's not.
No. I don't like that because that's like truly like diminishing like the true love.
And it's like I get that they're trying to say life continues, but like now is not the time.
Now is not the time. And you kind of, because I haven't had pets, but I've lost people that are close to me, and sometimes it's really okay to not know what to say and just be like, I'm just going to be here with this person because I don't know. Because, and loss is so different, and sudden loss is different from, having someone in your life that had a long illness. I mean, it's just.
Oops, sorry. Sorry.
No,
it's because you had dropped out. It's because you had dropped out and I realized I hadn't put the code up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's fine. No, it's fine. No, but I was just saying, like, I know for me, even with, no matter if it's a person or a pet or whatever, it can be different. Like having a sick loved one that passes can be different than a sudden loss. It can be different than something else. And even, having friends who've been through divorces, no, it's not a death, but it's a major loss of something that they thought was going to be forever. So it's like I try to just sit with people and be hey.
The deaths in my family that like, the first 2 deaths in my family, and I'm not counting people who are like family to me, but like actual family members, they were so sudden. It was like whiplash. And in both cases, I think some people around me thought there might have been a decline. For my grandma, we just didn't know because she was supposed to be getting better. She was getting better. And then a nurse went in while sick, and that's what did her in.
Oof.
It was cold and it was like devastating. And I didn't know that part until like 2020. When like my mom and my uncle said it as if everyone knew, and I'm like, hold on, this is new information to me. Like, you still had her, and it's like, maybe not as long at the time that I was seeing that, but like whatever. But then for my cousin who passed away after that, like she passed away because her doctors disagreed on what medication she should be taking, didn't communicate. Someone told her to get off something, and it basically, again, like both of them should have been okay and they weren't, and then suddenly they were gone. Even though like some of my family members knew that the doctors were disagreeing, they didn't know that my cousin had taken action to stop one of those medicines. They were like, so there was no preparation. Whereas in 2017, like 2017-ish, my great aunt and my great uncle, my great aunt was still like fully mentally there, but physically like was really so much arthritis, just getting older, really hard. Her husband had Alzheimer's. Her brother-in-law had dementia, and her sister-in-law was getting older and wouldn't wear a hearing aid, so was also probably starting to have Alzheimer's or dementia because her brain wasn't being stimulated like you're supposed to with sound and things like that. And it was just, we all knew it was coming for a long time. But also, when her husband passed away, she passed away hours later. Sorry, no, that was wrong. She passed away, even though she was of the two healthier, and he passed away basically hours later of like a broken heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I think within 3 hours. But that wasn't like as sudden. It was more like, wow, I didn't think they would go both so quickly.
Yeah.
But like that can happen. People can also like tend to like pass away within a year of like losing a loved one. But it was just like, that was a decline that I saw. That was the first time I ever saw a decline. And then with Riley, seeing what should have been just like a straight decline, which my mom and I weren't going to allow, that's what we were expecting. But because it was like decline, oh, by the way, like we're good for 10 months, and then suddenly like, we're not. It's just like, it's never easy no matter what the progress chart looks like.
Yeah, of course. It's rough, and I'm just so sorry that you're in the midst of that. And but I'm glad that you have people that love you and care about you, and I am glad that you have this platform that you're streaming, that you get to interact with people, and you're not, because
I mean, it's been so helpful to not like completely close myself off.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, like, we have to still be in the living room because Riley wouldn't let us be in our rooms, especially as she was getting sick. She'd be like, no, we're all together except to sleep. Because she actually didn't like me sleeping in bed with my mom and her as she got older, because she'd be like, I want to be able to stretch out. And now we're like, it's probably because she was uncomfortable. But that was the only time she let me be in my room. Was like, okay, you're sleeping, bye. But yeah, sorry to depress everyone, but thank you for all the support.
No, of course. Like, we're here for you. Like, please don't ever feel like you have to put on anything. Like, however you feel is how you feel. Like, no. Of course.
You can talk about Riley forever.
I mean, I probably will, but it's like last week felt like the most new normal, obviously. And then this week, because I've basically been at my apartment again, where my routine always changes from being at my mom's versus here. Even though Riley wouldn't normally be here, I'm like, ooh, I'm not taking care of myself as well. So now feelings are like bubbling up to the surface again.
I know.
Yeah, but I want to edit this YouTube video.
Yes.
Stop making myself sad. So, man, StreamYard.
I know.
I need you to behave. You know what? I'm going to just set up the 4th sprint as well so that when we go to it,
just in case.
Put me at top. So I put myself last on purpose because I thought it was going to stack us properly. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. During that last sprint, I ate food and then I started editing the video that I'm still working. I did not work during that sprint. My brain was just like, nope, you need a break.
Fair, genuinely fair. I wrote about 200 words that I don't like, so I'm going to erase it. I'm thinking about just starting this chapter over. Just something about it. I don't think it's like fun enough. So I think I just need to figure out how to make it more fun and exciting.
Well, I would save the version that you wrote and then make
Yeah.
another version. Like, don't fully delete.
No, I have a document that says the name of like the book and then dump pile, and I just sort of copy and paste whatever. Yeah.
So I didn't actually get words down either, but I have made some decisions that will help me get words down. So one of the things is I think I'm having some resistance. It's funny because one of my creative mentors says that resistance is the shadow aspect of self-expression. So sometimes when you're having resistance, it's because you're actually pushing through to the next level on something. Part of what's not sitting with me is because my tentative title for this is Project 1995. And so I think that it's a lot happened in 1995, personally and just in the world. I think I'm going to just call it Project Portal Jumper because it's about a portal jumper. I think it's getting some resistance because it makes me think of the entirety of the year of 1995, and not all of that was good stuff. So I think maybe I'm kind of slightly traumatizing myself with the name of the project, and I think it'll help me. It'll help me be able to work in it a little bit more. And Zara, were you even born in 1995? Because I feel slightly elderly. Okay, so the world was a very strange.
You were like, oh, 1995. I need to research 1995 as if I wasn't there, and I almost said when you said that earlier in the stream, I was almost like I wasn't.
I was there very weird times. Not all bad, but definitely some strange. The 90s in and of itself was just a strange decade. Says the person that didn't live through the 70s. Like my husband and my parents are like, you didn't live through the 70s. That's weirdness. Like
I mean, my mom lived through the 60s, the 70s. I'm not going to out how old my mom is.
Yeah.
On that. She's like, I don't care. And I was like, I don't need to put that business out on the internet more than I already have.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'll see things where it's like, oh, this was 90s culture. And I'll like peripherally remember it, but more that like, oh, by the time I was watching it, it was like a rerun. You know what I mean? I was born in 97, didn't come to America until 98. Probably wasn't cognizant of any media really until I was at least 3. You know.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. I mean, and when you're an adult, the differences in age don't really hit as hard. It seems like it really doesn't matter as much when you're an adult, but being a kid growing up in the 90s, because somebody did, I think it was an Instagram post about that TV show Doug, which I loved, and somebody was like, do you remember the song like from the Beats, like Killer Tofu? And I was like, I remember that, and I didn't know the Beats were like supposed to be a play on the Beatles. Like that went over my head. But now looking back, because they were from Liverpool and everybody loved it, I was like, oh, that was supposed to be the Beatles. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are always things in kids shows that like you didn't.
It's for the adults.
No, and it was for the adults.
Because I was not, of course, you know, I was aware that the Beatles existed, but it wasn't really a thing in my family. It wasn't really like a musical genre I grew up with. So I like was aware they existed, but if you showed me like, this is satire of the Beatles, I don't know.
Did either of you listen to My Chemical Romance?
Yes.
Okay. I just found out from TikTok the other day, and this is why I have like a love-hate relationship with TikTok, because it can be fun and then it can be awful. And one of the fun things is it was
okay,
the
well,
song
before
Mama?
you say what you're about to say, because I don't know if it's good or bad news, but I know someone who performs with My Chemical Romance.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I saw them for the first time like a couple years back. I saw them live. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity again, but so the song Mama, and there's like a woman talking during that song.
Yeah.
I just found out that was Liza Minnelli.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
If I had known that in high school, I would have been telling everybody that. I would have been like my like fun fact if anybody asked me that. I would have lost my like baby mind. And then I was like mad at younger Auburn. I'm like, how did you not know that was Liza Minnelli?
Well, I didn't know for so long that Shonda Rhimes had produced, had written Princess Diaries 2.
Yes.
And Whitney Houston had produced that one. And I'm like, so that's why it was so amazing. Okay.
That's why it was good.
Yes. And Shonda Rhimes wrote Crossroads, that Britney Spears movie that we all like sat through. I'm not going to say enjoyed. That would be a little more of a stretch. But
amazing. Do you think Shonda's going to be part of Princess Diaries 3?
I hope so.
I hope so.
But also, like, I'll believe it when I see it, because I feel like they keep talking about it, and I'm like,
I know,
talking about it for 5 years, and like I know there's development hell, so it's like it could be there was every intention to make it, but like things just didn't happen. And then there are other times where I'm like, they just saying this for fans because they want us to stop complaining, but they're also gonna realize that like we'll complain even more if we don't get it. Like I'm just like, I don't know what's happening.
And listen, if Julie Andrews isn't in it, I probably don't want it anyways.
She said that she was going to be.
Okay. I just worry about her.
Me too. I do too, and I try not to think about it.
Oh my god.
The latest Avatar film, like from the original creators, like got leaked entirely online like 2-3 months ago. Like the entire movie.
Wait, which Avatar? Aang and his friends, or the
Avatar Aang?
Okay, thank you. I heard that
people
too,
were like, "Oh,
so
this
sad.
guy emailed us from Paramount," and it's like, no, it was actually a hack. And this guy was like, "You should cut me a check because I've done so much marketing for you." And it's like, Paramount's not going to pay you for hacking them, like, and pirating their stuff. But like, I didn't get to see it at all. Which, like, I feel good about not having like contributed to like the views on that pirated thing. But someone made a video about what it was about, and was like saying things, and then certain people in the comments were like, I saw the whole thing, like this isn't true. But either way, they're like, oh, there's this movement that's like the precursor to the equalist movement in Korra, and I'm like, why would you do the same plot?
Yeah.
And also the streaming only thing I hate, because Paramount is boo. And like as part of my mom's cable package, she gets that. And she's like, if we have it, we can use it. And I'm just like, no, it's the principle of the thing. Like, I refuse to watch anything on there now. So I'm probably not even going to watch this thing, but had it been in theaters, I might have considered it, like, just to like support the creators.
Oh yeah. Because the clips I've seen, like from like TikTok and like Twitter and stuff, it's beautiful. Like the animation of it all.
I don't like that the voices are like different actors. It irks me because I can hear the difference so much, especially because you could just have Dante Bosco still do Zuko.
Yeah.
Voice sounds the same. And like, your voice doesn't change that much from the age that the show left off. Like, my voice is still pretty much the same from the time that I was like 12.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because when I watched One Piece as it was coming out on like Cartoon Network in middle school, and then during a new season, all the voice actors changed, and I was like, well, I'm not watching this. And now I have, if I want to watch One Piece, I have to watch like 700 episodes to catch back up. Like,
Yeah.
I could have been like an OG One Piece stan.
I can't do the one. I am trying, but every time I'm like, I'm gonna get into One Piece, I immediately get intimidated by how many episodes there are. And so my husband was like, there's no way to get through One Piece except to start One Piece and just binge as much as you can. So we were doing that for a while. And then I looked at him and I said, this will offend people. Just, asterisk, people will be offended. I looked at my husband after a while and I was like, does it eventually get better? I was like, this is kind of stupid. And he's like, I'm enjoying myself. And I was like, I am not. I was like, I do not like.
There are certain shows where people be like, oh, you have to get through. Okay, Gwen, he's no longer 12. So there's that. Second of all, there are certain shows where people would be like, oh, you have to get through certain episodes and then it gets good. And I'm like, I have so little free time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not no, I'm sorry. I'm
gonna go for it. I am gonna finish watching Murder, She Wrote, and then I need a new in the background show, and it is going to be One Piece. I have promised my brother that I will watch One Piece. I also have promised him Full Metal Alchemist, which is also a shame I haven't watched because I've watched a few episodes of that because my first relationship really wanted me to watch that.
Okay, Full Metal Alchemist is a lot better, to me. I know it's all very subjective to me. And then you can watch Full Metal Brotherhood, which I really like. But I'm like, I'm having trouble. Yeah, I'm having trouble with One Piece, and my husband's like, let's stick with it. And I was like, see, here's the thing. My stick to it, and I'm not a huge TV person. I really enjoy anime, but I'm not a huge TV person in the first place. And I'm like, I don't, because like Zara said, I'm really busy. So I'm like, I'm not great at sticking to it for stuff that doesn't count. And I'll give it a few episodes. I will give it a few episodes. But if I've been watching for a while and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but I don't love it. Like, it's really hard for me to stay with it. And I also do not like, I do not like things that last very long. Like, I'm one of those people, I have a limit to how many sequels of a movie I will go and see, even if I like the series. Like, I'm like, the series can go on. I'm not going on with it because I have a certain amount of sequels I will give an experience. I have a certain amount of seasons. So I never did the Game of Thrones thing because by the time I was like, oh, this is a big thing, I was like, oh, that's a lot of things. My husband, on the other hand, he's a Star Wars person. So he's just like, yeah, like TV and movies and their shows and they're interconnected. And I'm like,
no, I used to be like that. And now I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But if I had the time, I would be like your husband. The thing is, for me though, if something's really long, and I'm not talking about like spin-offs, okay? I'm talking about it is a continuous series.
Right.
Something always happens that pisses me off, that makes me stop watching, that it doesn't get too long. So when I stuck around, I think until season 5 on Supernatural. But after that, I was like, I'm done. I really wanted Monster of the Week. You went all these angels and demons, and that's always the answer now. And I'm just sick of it. Whereas at least
exactly.
it's no, that's the point of the show, And then, Vampire Diaries, they're like, oh, all of a sudden it's there's the actual devil. And I'm like, I came back because the siren sounded cool, but you're telling me this. And then I only so I watched through, I think, season 5 on Vampire Diaries, basically skipped season 6, watched season 7. And then either the 8th season was the last thing, or I watched some of season 7 and then just watched the last episode of the whole show because I was curious because they're like, oh, well, these people are coming back. And I'm like, okay, you got me out of curiosity, but I've been following the show through spoiler summaries online, and I'm so glad I didn't watch all this.
Supernatural was great until it wasn't, and then the slow death kill that Supernatural did really pissed me off. Because I was like, let's just round it up, put us all out of our misery, because I'm like, we all can see that this is just not going well. And they just dragged it out for so long. And I was like, I don't want it this way. Like, and then they ended it, and I was like, okay, like, because it just got very weird to me. And I'm the same way. And I guess because I'm not inherently a huge TV watcher, it takes more to keep me invested. And I don't like, so like, here's my thing with Star Wars. And I know, gasp, because I'm like, Star Wars, a lot of people love Star Wars. I don't, because I looked at my husband and I was like, if you can tell me who Star Wars is about and why they haven't finished telling their story and wrapped it up yet, maybe I'll give it another try. And he's like, but Star Wars is about, no. Who is the protagonist? Because I was like, I stuck in there.
Well, with each thing, the answer is the new one. But the first 6, yes, the first 6 are about the chosen one. But I don't know how much spoilers you've gotten on the internet. And then, but if you just take the first 3 that were, I was going to say published. That's not what you say for a film. Released. So if you take the original trilogy and not the prequel trilogy, then it's about Luke. The sequel trilogy is about Ben Solo.
Yeah. So also because, so this is also, and Edward knows this is his fault, because Edward introduced me to Star Wars wrong, because here's the thing. As much as I'm a hardcore sci-fi person, I did not grow up in a sci-fi fantasy. My grandmother loved horror. I watched horror stuff with her, but I did not really grow up in a sci-fi family. So I was an adult who had never seen Star Wars. And my husband showed them to me straight through, like the first 3 prequels, and then
you got to, what's it called?
Yes.
The Hatchet Order? Is it?
Yes.
Is it called
So
the
he
Hatchet
did
Order?
it wrong.
You either do the original trilogy first and then the prequels, or you do the Hatchet Order. Beyond that, if you do it in
everybody told him this. Everybody told him this after he had already showed it to me straight through, because he's like, well, this is how Lucas intended people to see them. And I was like, I promise it wouldn't have flopped.
Was fun. Lucas is wrong. Okay, the fans were right with the Hatchet.
It would have flopped. Because if you can imagine me living to be an adult who had this boyfriend and I had never seen Star Wars. So you hear Star Wars references, but I didn't know the story. I had never seen it. So he showed it to me the way Lucas intended. So I'm thinking the whole point is that we're rooting for Anakin. And then so halfway through the 3rd one, I was like, he's Darth Vader. And he was like, yeah, like that's the point.
I
didn't know that. I didn't know.
Because Anakin's arc is, he's set up to be the chosen one. He goes dark and then he gets redeemed. But the thing is that Luke's story, if you just the original trilogy, not touching the mess of what they did in the sequel trilogy, the character assassination that happened to him, is because the 2 directors didn't agree.
Yeah.
And fought on screen. I'm like, you handled that in the editing room. You don't handle that for us all to see. Luke's original arc is that of the normal hero's journey. Like
he's Arthur in the Arthurian legend.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Space.
He's the hero's journey. But then if you include the sequel trilogy, he goes like, oh no, he actually had the hero arc that Anakin was supposed to have, but then declines. So he's like the reverse of his dad. And you're just like,
but that
and then grandson Ben is just like mirroring grandfather, but like not as good because they took out all the like actual spirituality of the Force in the sequel. And I'm like, and my mom's like, I didn't like it. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, and she's like, I'm like, why? And she's like, because there was no actual Force stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Like,
and not only was there no Force
like superpowers,
but Ben just, to me, and maybe because I had already been shown like Star Wars in the wrong order, so I have like a bone to pick with it. But then I was like, Ben doesn't have he doesn't have the heart for it. Like once Darth became Darth, he was like, You could believe it. Ben was not
He was at
selling
his
me
lowest
evil.
point, and the dark side promised him his stuff. Ben is just this emo guy who's rebelling from his parents.
And it's very much, it was, Ben's whole arc to me was giving very much, my parents are rich, but I'm going to go slum it for a summer and work in a coffee shop.
Yes.
I really have nothing to lose, but like,
Yes.
there's no invest. So I wasn't invested because I'm like, it's just coming across whiny. I'm like, he's not evil, he's whiny. Like, it's
I know. And like, I love Adam Driver, but like that, I'm like, dude, you're not a good villain. And then you're like, oh, the real villain is Snoke. And then it turns out, and you're like, man, the only good part of this like sequel trilogy was Rey, Finn, Rose, and Poe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But then where it's like, oh, Rey is and I'm like, you didn't. It would have been better had your parents actually been nobodies. Because then the world could exist outside this Skywalker, Palpatine, like
that
line.
So, right. That would have made sense, but then it didn't. And I was like, maybe it's because I think it really, for me, was the timing of, as a person that did not grow up with Star Wars and then was shown it in the wrong order, to then go directly into like how horribly they did those. And those were the ones I actually saw in theaters. I was like, this is a shit show, and I really don't want to do this anymore. To have like a person who's always been a diehard, like, no, you don't understand, it's great, and it will come back. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This is terrible.
Like, I will say The Mandalorian has been fun. Andor is depressing as hell, but so good. You know, the Kenobi and Ahsoka shows, I'm like,
yeah.
Yes, Christian, come back and play Anakin and get your flowers, because, you know, like, hindsight has been like, oh no, he actually did a good job. He just had an awful script at times.
Yeah.
But like everyone who's like, oh, Anakin was so whiny. It's like, he's supposed to be. But he eventually grows out of that, whereas Ben never really did.
Never did. But it's like, so yes, Anakin, watching his whiny adolescence was a rough watch. But at least there's some payoff. Like, yeah, it's evil payoff, but at least there's a payoff. But with Ben, I was like, there is no payoff here. I was like, this is just bad. And again, not because the actor was bad. He can only do the material he's given. I'm like, this was not
exactly
written in a way that
you don't hate the actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've learned from what happened with Hayden in the prequels. We're like, no. It turns out that normally if something's wrong in Star Wars, it's normally not the actor's fault.
Right. I was like, so, because he's a great actor, but I was like, I just wish it was better. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this as an adult who's already a writer, because I'm looking at this stuff like, who didn't, and I was like, who managed the plot? Who didn't say we need more here? Who did this? Because I'm not getting anything that makes me want. I was like, I'm not invested. That's the thing. And you can't. And I was like, and everything isn't for everybody. I was like, because, well, I'm also a Trekkie. And my husband's like, he also loves Star Trek. But he was like, but Star Trek is he's like, it's always gonna work out in the end. And I'm like, that's not true. But he was like, but Star Trek has like all these different series. And I was like, yes. I was like, but that makes sense to my brain, because I was like, they're different ships and it's a different thing. I'm like, Star Wars is just, you want me to care about these people that I'm like, if the story was about Luke, then I was like, he's gone, the story's gone. If it was about Anakin, he's gone, the story's gone. Like, I don't know who to care about. Like, I don't care about these people. I care about the people in the Star Trek universe, because
but that's why the individual shows of Star Wars are better, because you have the person they exist within the world of Star Wars, and when their show ends, you know, because you're like, this is where they fit within the bigger lore. Cool. Like, you wouldn't care about young Kenobi just as a random character, but like when you saw the original and you're like, ooh, Ben Kenobi is so wise. And then the prequels, and then you're like, oh, like he used to be sassy too. Like, okay, that's where you're gonna got some of it. And then you see the Kenobi show. You're like, okay, you have that. Like the interest is built in. Or like Ahsoka, you know what I mean? But like Mandalorian, you're like, you don't really know this Mandalorian from the original story. It's just like you know about like the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, you're in it. Or Andor, and it's like, okay, the premise is blank and you're following the characters, but you're not necessarily like, this is the character I'm following. So instead of, in Mockingjay, it's not like, oh, we're following Katniss through the rebellion. We're just following the rebellion, but the ones that like aren't as successful, kind of like when you see the musical Les Mis, you're like, this was about a failed revolution. Like this is not a successful French Revolution. This was the and so that one's really about the world building. It doesn't give you a character anchor as much. Like you still care about the characters, but like
yeah, definitely. Because I like Ahsoka. I really actually, of all the characters of Star Wars, I would say that Ahsoka is my favorite character. I really like her. I mean, and unrelatedly, I also really liked Yaddle. I was like, okay, justice for Yaddle, because she was a badass and they should have listened to her. And but I was like, overall, and as you can see, like married to a person who like info dumps Star Wars, even though I'm like, fine, like, can you find a Star Wars friend? Because I'm not the Star Wars friend. Like I don't like this. But 14 years of being with somebody and them info dumping at you, you find out a lot about like a universe you actually don't like. But I was like, it could be worse. It could be Dune, because I also don't like Dune. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't like Dune. I'm gonna say
I'm not touching Dune. I'm like, it's too long. I've heard certain things about it where I'm like, I'm definitely not going to spend that much time on something that I don't think I'm going to like.
Yeah, sometimes you just know something's not for you, and that's okay. It wasn't made for me. I don't need it. I've got plenty.
Dune was not made for me because, again, had not encountered. This is before I'm not talking about the ones with Zendaya. I'm talking like the actual like Dune from a dude from like in the 80s or whenever it was. And Edward showed me that too. But again, I'm seeing it out of time. So I'm seeing Paul Atreides and I'm just seeing dude from Sex and the City that was Charlotte's ex-husband that like had this weird thing for his mom, because I'm seeing it out of time. So I'm already seeing Sex and the City. So I'm like, I can't take this guy serious as a hero. And he's like, that's Paul Atreides. He's the hero. And I'm like, oh, we're screwed. If he's like the guy, we are so screwed. But it was long, it was confusing. I'm like, is this about the spice? Is this about the worms? Is this about the rain? Like, what is this about? It's very like bad poetry. Like, what is this?
I feel like there are times when stories are like, oh, it's all of these things. I'm like, but you can't do that all at once. Like, this is why you have spinoffs. This is why you have sequels. But like, you got to be focused in the story you're telling, or at least more focused.
True. Yes. Okay. We should sprint because it's like 3:45 and people like want to go on with their lives.
We'll wrap up like a little bit after 4, but
okay.
Amanda's like, y'all have been yapping.
I'm like, what did I miss?
What did I miss? From Hamilton, for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I know Auburn gets it. The musical theater geek on the screen with me. Gwen was like, I didn't wait for you. I started working while you were still chatting. Fair. I'm just waiting until the 45-minute mark because we're so close.
Yeah, this is hilarious. Amanda's gonna be like, they talked so much. I wrote the entirety of the novel while they talked about the thing. Be like, and in conclusion, I have finished chapter 47 of this novel.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. Auburn's been the only one aside from me who's been in this stream without having to leave the studio once. So that's why every time I change a scene,
Slightly cursed. Just a little cursed.
How did you do, Amanda?
445.
Let's go. Do you know how much you've written in total?
So far it's currently sitting at, like for the whole...
Yeah.
Stream, I think.
Yeah, the stream.
I think around approximately 1K.
Hell yeah. That's nice. I feel like it went by like so quick. I wrote 347, and I don't know if you can tell, but the light in my room is disappearing. It looks like nighttime now. I think it's about to rain.
I noticed that.
It's so dark. I would love to see a shot of the beginning of the stream and now this end. It is so dark in this room now.
I changed the name of my project in Obsidian and Ellipsis, and my brain also vacationed a little bit. So I think I'm going to have to, when we're done here, take a screen break and just get some more water and reset a little bit. But I am already feeling more excited about it. And in my next life, I'm going to be more like Amanda. Amanda actually wrote while we were here to write, whereas I talked a lot and did not write. But I do write on occasion because I wrote this book.
Yes, you have proof. You have proof that you do get things done.
I do. Not today, but on occasion, I do get writing done as proof of the fact that I've written a book.
Amanda, I think this is a request to show the dog.
Come here, Frey. He is a mini Australian Shepherd.
Oh, my cousin has a mini Australian Shepherd.
Beautiful. You're so loved.
He is technically my mom's dog. He just stays with me a lot. With my two.
Oh, so cute.
Adorable.
All the kisses. All the kisses.
And it probably doesn't help that I didn't start off stream at home. I've been dog sitting for somebody, so he's just like, "You're here. You're here."
I'm just so excited to see you.
Riley learned that I didn't accept face kisses, but she would then lick my hands, lick my feet, like everywhere else she could reach. And I was like, that's fine, whatever. I just didn't want her making me break out. Or like accidentally licking my mouth, like into my mouth if I, I was like, I can't deal with that danger.
The stream Frey.
Oh, it's so cute. During that sprint, I was watching Kate's Save the Cat video from like 6 years ago because I mentioned it in the video that I filmed before the live stream. And then I'm thinking, I do not go into Save the Cat enough for people who are watching this video and are like, most people who are going to see it do know what Save the Cat is, but for the people who don't, this is definitely not enough. And so I'm going to have to rewrite the script and refilm it, but I'm like, I'm doing that tomorrow. But that was the realization that I had during that last sprint where it's like, the work I did must redo.
My only experience with like using Save the Cat was when I've taken screenwriting classes.
Sorry, hold on. Your volume just got really, really low, Amanda.
I was saying, like, the only experience I really have with Save the Cat is when I was taking screenwriting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned the screenwriting version in the video that I filmed. But then I'm like, oh, you know what? My brain was like, oh, yeah, obviously people know what it is. And, like, I can just name the stuff and not go into any of it. And I'm like, no, that's not what this video is for. It's to talk about what it is, because then in the next video, I'm going to talk about how Save the Cat Writes a young adult novel is different, but if I don't lay the groundwork for the first one, yeah. So.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you to everyone for being here. Gwynna, thank you for sticking around in the chat, even when the internet gremlins kicked you off the screen. Regina, thank you for being here as always. And I will see everyone for the next live stream. You can see that at inimitableBooks.com. Check out the co-hosts. You can go back to the beginning of the live stream to see their websites, but I'll also quickly throw them up here. This is Amanda's website. I'll let it fully scroll once. This is Auburn's links and Auburn's book. Not published by Inimitable Books.
Also, I forgot to mention on the stream, I was a story consultant for a gay short miniseries called Eat Cute, and that is on my link tree if you guys want to watch a quick little, like...
I know, I want to watch it. I remember when you shared it, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, and then I forgot to watch it, so I need to watch it. Thank you for the reminder.
Of course.
Gwynna was here earlier. Internet Gremlins got her. This is her YouTube channel. And then we have Portia, who wrote this.
And I am on Substack, and you can go over there and see, because actually and I don't have the other book in front of me, but the essay that I wrote in Callaloo magazine for the 50th annual reconvening of the Phyllis Wheatley Festival is 20% off to read this week. So if you want to read the entire anthology that includes Jessamine Ward and Alice Walker that they actually accepted my essay into, like, that's wild, then that is on my Substack.
Okay, great. I'll have to check that out. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the founder of Inimitable Books, a small publishing company dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices while pigeonholing authors into writing about their trauma. We have 20 books out right now. We have more coming. This coming Tuesday, we have Beyond Ever After coming out, which is the sequel to Until the Last Page. If you like fairy tale romances, if you like fairy tale retellings, if you like the movie Enchanted and or the TV show Once Upon a Time, this is your jam. The first book was magical, the second one even more so, and I'm really excited for it. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.